And it depends on what the purpose of the property is. Is it to keep a person busy through their working years, just so they have something to do and they're building assets and income along the way? Is it for retirement? They did it over the years, so they have this extra cash flow. A lot of people only have Social Security in retirement.
Right.
That ain't enough to live on.
No.
So, you could either save into retirement plans and savings and investment accounts and hopefully save enough to supplement what's needed over and above Social Security. Or you can work some rental properties in where you're making $1,000, $2,000, $3,000, $4,000 a month from your rental income.
Welcome to today's Retirees with Certified Financial Planner Wayne Maslyk of Great Lakes Benefits and Wealth Management. Anchored in family values, Wayne offers practical advice to help you get the most out of your retirement years. For more information, visit today'sretirees.com. Now, here's your host.
Welcome to today's Retirees with Certified Financial Planner Wayne Maslyk of Great Lakes Benefits and Wealth Management. Glad you are with us today. On our last program, we talked a little bit about highly appreciated real estate. If you want to go back to Wayne's website at today'sretirees.com, you can find out more about that.
What were those trusts called?
You had a
DST.
A DST, which was a Delaware statutory trust.
Right.
And there's ways that you can avoid taxes on even a highly appreciated piece of property. So you need to check that out. Today's program, we're going to talk about not those high wealth individuals, but more of guys like probably you and I. And when I say that, that's probably a bad thing to say because there's probably some very high wealth individuals that are watching this program.
Yeah, no doubt.
Do you remember the book several years ago called The Millionaire Next Door?
Absolutely, read it.
Talked about, all these millionaires driving basic Ford and Buick and,
Wears Timex watch and,
right.
They don't have the big Rolexes or Breitlings, it's right. And that's what most millionaires, there's a lot of millionaires out there.
Sure.
Lots and lots.
Yeah.
Last week's show was about the multi-millionaire, that owns maybe just in property.
Sure.
A lot of farmers are multimillionaires. They don't have a lot of money invested or in the bank.
Right.
They're land millionaires.
Exactly.
So there's the same with people that own buildings, and they're even business owners. A lot of business owners have $1 million businesses plus.
Sure.
But they don't get the payoff until they sell the business.
Right.
Right. So there are a lot of millionaires, and a lot of them listening to this show.
Sure. Absolutely.
That's why I still do it.
No,
we help everybody, you know that.
Right. Well, I'll tell you, we've been doing this for I don't know how many years, several years,
10 or 15.
And as we do this, I learn more and more. Now I was talking to someone the other day. We mentioned this on the last program that I had a guy come up to me and say, I said, no, you call Wayne. I said, I don't know anything about this. I said, I am not a financial guy at all. I said, the only thing that I have is because Wayne has helped me with some things over the years. But today we're
still waiting for a little coin, too. No, I'm just kidding.
Today we're going to be talking about rental property. And I'm assuming that we're talking about, normal residential, duplex, triplex, single family type rental properties.
And people that aren't in it. That's kind of the purpose of this show is people that maybe should consider it. Mm-hmm. And I think you could give some good feedback on what type of people, should do that. There's a lot of folks out there that are tired of their jobs or, they don't want to do this for the rest of their life. They put 30, 35 years in, retire at the same company, same employer, same company, same profession, and then retire and get a pension and Social Security. Those days are pretty much over.
Sure.
People have multiple employers through their lifetimes now. And a lot of folks want freedom. They don't want to have the boss tell them how the world's going to work every day.
Yes.
Start getting into rental properties is a great option for many people.
It can be, and I know some folks who have multiple properties and retired and have a handsome income. But the thing that I've noticed about most of those folks is they are very handy folks.
Exactly.
They can do a lot of the repairs and renovation without without hiring a lot of professionals to help do that.
And in my opinion, that's the key. That's when it's most profitable. So you come to me with $100,000 to invest in investments or whatever, you're going to earn 3 to 8% over time, typically, historically. You never know what you're going to really earn, depending on what happens in the markets and where your money's invested. But if you have a rental and you buy it for 80 and you put 20 in it, and now you get the monthly income, $1,000 a month, give or take, or more, plus the appreciation of the property over time. To me, it's one of the best investments out there, providing you're handy.
Sure. Because as we mentioned before, there are always repairs, things like that have to be done. Just like if you're maintaining your own home, those things have to be done.
Quicker. Because you're getting calls or texts that, hey, my toilet's leaking, or, this isn't working, or we have no heat, or, it's 90 out and our AC's not working.
Sure.
If it's your own home, you have the luxury of waiting, or, right? But if it's a rental, you got to get on it.
Sure.
If you want to keep good renters.
Right. And that's, I guess, would be another thing to really consider is the tenant themselves. I read a story one time. It says no tenant in your rental house is better than a bad tenant in your rental house.
I mean, that's a whole different subject, screening your people and getting big down payments. But, you don't have to run the rental business or rental homes as your main thing either. Many people can work their 40, ish hours a week, and then once they're home or on weekends, they could manage their rental properties, especially people that aren't couch potatoes. Sure. A lot of people want stuff to do. And many people spend their extra time doing hobbies, things that cost them money.
Sure.
Don't, actually dips into their overhead because they're buying things and restoring cars, or have motorcycles or boats or campers. And this is one way for people to spend their time and build assets and build cash flow, both now and in the future, or for retirement even.
Absolutely. Well, when we come back, we're going to talk about more about rental property, why you should consider it, all kinds of things about that. But you can find out more about Wayne and all of the things that he does at his website, todaysretirees.com. Let me encourage you to pick up the phone and call his office. And if you don't have a financial planner, even if you do have a financial planner, it's always good to get a second opinion. And you can do that by making an appointment at 866-626-3990. We'll be back right after this.
We've all heard the word rollover when referring to an investment account at work, or your 401k, your 403b, your 457 plan. What do you do with that when you've left your job and your 401k or other retirement plan is still at your old employer? Or what if you've retired? And one thing you don't want to do is you don't want to leave your money, your retirement account, in your employer's 401k. Quite frankly, your old employer or current employer is the boss of your retirement account. So if you have questions about what to do with your rollover, you roll it to Wayne. Get it in your own hands, where you have the whole universe of investments and choices, not just what your employer tells you can pick from. So contact my office for a free consultation on how to roll over your old retirement account.
Welcome back to Today's Retirees with certified financial planner Wayne Maslyk of Great Lakes Benefits and Wealth Management. If you have rental property, or you're thinking about having rental property, or you're thinking about disposing of rental, not burning them down, I mean like selling them or something, you want to stick around for the next couple of segments. We talked a little bit in our first segment, Wayne, about, if you're handy, this could be a good investment. It could be a good retirement income for folks.
Yeah.
What about time frame? Let's say that you're into this. When do you decide when is a good time to get out of that? I mean, you've had it for 5 years, 10 years, 30 years. There's...
You're asking the wrong guy.
You know,
I should be asking you that question.
really?
There's different times in people's lives when it comes and it's apparent that they want out.
Sure.
They may want to travel more, spend winters someplace warm.
That would be nice.
Yeah, not be tied to their rental, right? You could still own rentals and do that stuff. It's just you're going to have to hire a local management firm to take over your duties while you're traveling the country, or if you're getting older and slowing down, you have to hire more and more out. But then now that's eating into your profits.
Sure.
And that's when they start looking at the numbers and, should I really keep this thing? And the cash flow's not that great. They cash out and they get the appreciation of the house. Hopefully it's paid off.
Sure.
I mean, that's another key too. If you have rentals, you want to get them paid off as soon as possible.
Right.
And it depends on what the purpose of the property is. Is it to keep a person busy through their working years, just so they have something to do and they're building assets and income along the way? Is it for retirement? They did it over the years, so they have this extra cash flow. A lot of people only have Social Security in retirement.
Right.
That ain't enough to live on.
No.
So, you could either save into retirement plans and savings and investment accounts, and hopefully save enough to supplement what's needed over and above Social Security. Or you can work some rental properties in where you're making $1,000, $2,000, $3,000, $4,000 a month from your rental income, plus your investments and retirement accounts, plus your Social Security. It just adds a whole nother level of retirement for people that take the time and take it seriously to own rentals.
Sure.
It's a great investment if you do things yourself and you're handy and know what you're doing.
Right.
And you manage your tenants properly. And you ask enough for the rent. I see a lot of people that own rentals and they're just not asking enough. I have a lot of clients, you got to raise your rent.
Right.
Their tenant's been there 20 years, 20. It's like, yeah, they're just such a great tenant. I know, but you're not making any money on it. Right?
Right.
I mean, I have people that want to get out of rental properties but don't want to sell it because of their tenant.
Sure.
You're right. They feel obligated to provide them a house for super cheap rent. It just doesn't make sense. So people go in business to make money.
That's the purpose. Most people go into business.
Yes.
Right?
They don't go in rentals. You don't buy rentals, so you provide someone with a place to live. Any business owner, if your number one goal isn't to make money, you shouldn't be in business. And it's the same with rental. I mean, you're there to make money, not only have the asset grow in value, but also to develop a residual income stream that never stops.
Sure.
As long as you keep it rented and you take care of your properties.
Now, do you see because you have a lot of clients and many of these clients have, rentables, some of them multiple rentals. Do you see some of them, I mean, you just mentioned, some of the, not asking enough for the rent, where their tenants become good friends, so they don't raise the rent like they should.
Yeah.
Because everything goes up. I mean, inflation is what it is. So, your rent should go up comparable.
Absolutely.
So-
You're a business owner.
Right.
The grocery store doesn't keep their milk prices the same for 20 years.
Right.
As the market calls, you raise your prices, and
Sure.
the rental owners need to do the same.
Right.
Providing you're maintaining the property for them and you're not some slumlord, right?
Right.
But just a normal situation, a person that has 1 to 10 rentals, you're going to want to keep good quality rentals, and you'll maintain good quality renters.
Sure. We're getting ready to go to a break. Is there when you're dealing with folks and you're advising them on this, is there a rule of thumb of a percentage or a return that you're looking for on that piece of property for rent?
As much as the market will bear.
Okay.
I mean, it's you'll know if your thing's sitting empty for months if that
Right.
you're asking too much for it. And even if a good renter is going to leave because you raised the rent, but you have another waiting in the wings, it's your job to make you and your family as much money as possible.
Right. I think that is what you just said is a very key thing. You have to think about you and your family.
Yes.
As much as, your renters might be great folks, but you have to take into consideration what's best for your family.
Yes.
And that's one of the things that you help families do. Put together plans, even in investments
even
like
with
this.
rentals, absolutely. Yeah, it's key. If you're a business owner, you got to run your business to make a profit. Not rake people. You want to be fair. You don't want to rip anyone off.
Right.
But you want to be fair to yourself and your family, and your tenant or customer.
Sure, absolutely. Well, friends, we're going to take a little break right here. Go to Wayne's website at todaysretirees.com, or go to pick up the phone and make an appointment to sit down with Wayne. He can advise you on a lot of these things, and he works with a team. He has attorneys he works with and accountants and all kinds of folks that he'll help pull together a team to make sense for you and your family's needs. We'll be back right after this.
We've all heard the word rollover when referring to an investment account at work, or your 401k, your 403b, your 457 plan. What do you do with that when you've left your job and your 401k or other retirement plan is still at your old employer? Or what if you've retired? And one thing you don't want to do is you don't want to leave your money, your retirement account, in your employer's 401k. Quite frankly, your old employer or current employer is the boss of your retirement account. So if you have questions about what to do with your rollover, you roll it to Wayne. Get it in your own hands, where you have the whole universe of investments and choices, not just what your employer tells you can pick from. So contact my office for a free consultation on how to roll over your old retirement account. A certified financial planner is a true professional, a well-rounded, holistic planner that helps you in all areas of your financial life. Estate planning, tax planning, financial planning, insurance planning. We have to sit for a 10-hour, 2-day exam, at least back when I took the test. It's not just a weekend designation where you go somewhere for a couple days, pay a couple $100, and now you have letters behind your name. One thing I think is important is that you try and find a independent certified financial planner. Somebody that doesn't work for a big firm. I myself own my company, Great Lakes Benefits and Wealth Management. The buck stops with me, an independent, certified financial planner, one of the only ones on the north coast of Ohio.
And welcome back to Today's Retirees with certified financial planner Wayne Maslyk of Great Lakes Benefits and Wealth Management. Today's program, we're talking about rental properties. And those of you who have rental properties, I'm sure that you are always thinking not just about them, but how to make money with them. So I'm going to ask you a couple of questions, Wayne, in our last segment. Is there a rule of thumb for a time frame for holding on to these to maximize your profit?
No, I would say no. It depends on what the markets bear. As you know, right now, real estate's high. Mm-hmm. So if people have owned a rental for years, they could certainly sell it and make a boatload of money now in most cases. So it's very tempting for people to do that, but then they're trading off the purpose that they got it for, which is retirement income or future income. Maybe, maybe they have a double purpose of getting a rental, appreciate the asset, then flip it or sell it, or for future income. It depends, and that's up to the owner to determine what's the purpose of this. Should I put as little in the house as possible? Keep it safe and clean and nice, but not put in, new concrete or, not fix that $15,000 basement wall that has a little leak in it. So you just keep your cash flow coming, and you don't do those major improvements. If you want to build the value of the asset, it's a different story.
Sure.
If you want to do both, you got to balance that out.
Right.
So, but people know when the time comes when they want out of it. If they get a price they can't refuse for sale, because they'll wait till they find another deal, they'll go get another one.
Sure.
Right. Or wait till the markets come back down, the real estate market, and they'll go buy more. So it depends on what the person's looking for, what age they are, how much they want to put into it, how profitable the property is.
Now, what about if you have these properties and you want to leave them to an heir? Is that a good thing? I mean,
depends on the heir.
Right.
Most heirs will have a for sale sign up in 90 days.
Right.
But there's no tax, right? They get a step up in cost basis. So the heirs end up not paying any tax on it. But yeah, I mean, unless the heirs are in the business helping you run these rentals, just like a farm, a lot of farmers have kids in the farm, but if the kids aren't in the farm or aren't in the rental business, they're going to sell the asset.
Sure.
In most cases.
Right.
Yeah, they're just going to liquidate it.
Receive the cash and go on. So, which brings us back, are there any tax advantages or tax disadvantages of having rental properties?
There's a lot of tax advantages of having rental property. You definitely will save because of depreciation and the money you put in the rental. You can write that stuff off.
Sure.
Either write it off completely or depreciate the improvements. You will have to pay tax on the profits or the appreciation on the property when you sell it, unless, like last week's show, a person does a tax-free exchange, like the 1031 exchange,
Sure.
where you can sell a rental property and put the money in a special account where you're going to do a 1031 exchange, and then use that money to buy another similar asset, rental property, for instance.
Sure.
And then there's no tax.
Okay.
Okay, so it's a great way to make profits and pay no tax.
Now, could you take a portion of that as profit and set that aside and only use a portion of it to put into the 1031?
I'm not sure.
Okay.
That I'm not sure about. That's a CPA question. I don't know.
I mean, if you had an I'm just, top of my head, you have appreciation of a building and you have $200,000 net.
Yeah.
What if you put some of it in that and some of it in your pocket?
Right. Like last show, we talked about the DSTs.
Right.
For highly appreciated, $1 million assets. That you can do.
Sure.
You could keep a portion, but I'm not sure if you can do it with a 1031.
You know what Wayne's going to do? He's going to find that out and let us know.
Yeah, well, if I remember next show.
If he remembers, right.
Nowadays, it's just a text to your CPA and you get the answer.
Exactly. Well, now, if a person is handy, this, I guess I'm just going to sort of review here. Your ideal person to own rental is somebody that's handy. When I say handy, I mean, they can use a saw and a hammer and screwdrivers, and they have a basic knowledge of building.
Yeah, get on a ladder, change a seal on a toilet, fix a water leak. And spouses, too. It's great for husband and wife. If you get a husband and wife team together,
Right.
Mrs. can do the books. A lot of women are handy.
Sure.
And especially if she's a homemaker with the kids, while the husband's at his full-time job, if the rentals are not full-time, the wife can be handling the other duties.
Sure,
I mean,
absolutely.
it's great for partners if they're both handy.
Right.
Or maybe one does the books or accounting or whatever.
Sure.
That helps too, because there's a lot of receipts, a lot of bookkeeping with rentals, especially if you have multiple rental properties.
Sure, absolutely. And like you say, the family needs to sort of buy into it in order to make it work well.
Well, ideally.
Right.
I mean, I don't know why the spouse wouldn't want them to do it if the person is spending thousands on motorcycles and boats and hobbies, and now they're shifting some of that time to making money in rental real estate.
Sure.
I would be ecstatic.
Right.
They got to be financially able to do it too. I mean, you don't want them spending their life savings, getting into the real estate business or rental business. I mean, that could be disastrous.
Sure.
Especially when markets are high like they are now. So, you got to be careful. Work with advisors like myself, where we give our 2 cents and give them things to think about. And then you make an educated decision if you can do it. You can even dip your toes with the inexpensive property.
Sure. Absolutely.
Normally those aren't the best neighborhoods, but it's a process. But it's definitely, it should be a consideration for some folks out there to start investing in real estate and rentals.
Absolutely. Well, friends, hopefully we have given you some food to think on. Go to Wayne's website, todaysretirees.com, or pick up the phone at 866-626-3990. That's all the time we have for today. We'll see you the next time.
Thanks for tuning in to Today's Retirees with certified financial planner Wayne Maslyk of Great Lakes Benefits and Wealth Management. Visit todaysretirees.com or call 866-626-3990 to schedule a no-cost appointment with Wayne. Today's Retirees is brought to you by Great Lakes Benefits and Wealth Management, family-focused retirement and tax planning services, anchored in family values. Information and opinions discussed on Today's Retirees do not necessarily reflect the opinions of this station. Opinions expressed should not be substituted for individualized consultation with a qualified financial advisor. For specific information, call 866-626-3990 or visit todaysretirees.com.
A certified financial planner is a true professional, a well-rounded, holistic planner that helps you in all areas of your financial life. Estate planning, tax planning, financial planning, insurance planning. We have to sit for a 10-hour, 2-day exam, at least back when I took the test. It's not just a weekend designation where you go somewhere for a couple days, pay a couple $100, and now you have letters behind your name. One thing I think is important is that you try and find an independent certified financial planner. Somebody that doesn't work for a big firm. I myself own my company, Great Lakes Benefits and Wealth Management. The buck stops with me, an independent, certified financial planner, one of the only ones on the north coast of Ohio.